helping to quell Belgium's largest wildfire in a century. Villagers in 2 Belgian hamlets were given the all-clear to return home, while a town in Germany was also posted a notice telling residents living near the border it was safe to go back. A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to an overnight low of 8 degrees, peaking at a high of 30. Pretoria 13 and 31, Vereniging 6 and 30 degrees. Monki Ziko, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Comfort ends where Marawa Sports Worldwide begins.
Go to work.
No back pass. I spoke to a man who's highly respected.
He became an animal and nobody could catch him.
I am very, very scared.
And this time he sticks!
They putting on a show.
And you have to stop playing games because we are not in the business of playing games.
No back pass.
This is a serious commission of inquiry.
When I watch PSL, the ball is always out. 2 touch, 3 touch, the ball is out. Sometimes I fell asleep, coach. It's not entertaining. Unless you're watching Sundowns, Orlando Pirates sometimes, you watch Kaizer Chiefs. These guys can pass the ball 3 times, 4 times. So me, I just sleep.
People cannot come here and play games and filibuster and obfuscate. If you are asked a question, you answer it, and you answer it truthfully.
And I think those fans that speak too much are the ones that don't follow the team really. And they speak too much and understand too less. And I think it's important to settle down the critics on the players to relate with the things in the proper way.
I want to repeat, social media is not life.
Someone who's playing recklessly, these players must be punished after the game. Because we don't have VAR, we better just review the game and punish them the following.
So early in the season, but
Hey, Matuputu Dithejane. As much as I cannot wait for the greatest rivalry to start, hey, but in the in New Zealand. And it's simply because of the running rugby they are playing. I'd like us to play the Did You Know game. Did you know, Rob, that talking about the WAFCON that just happened, prior to this tournament, only 3 countries had lifted the WAFCON, being the 10-time champions Nigeria, us in 2022, as well as Equatorial Guinea. And there were only 2 nations that lifted it as both the men and the women, being Nigeria as well as the South Africans. And now, with Samuel Eto'o at the helm, Cameroon can add themselves to that list. Well, Sukazi just beat Amarincha Pirates. It would have been a derby had Orlando just added their name to that. Why don't our neighbors have a team already, Tarop?
Ole is a very creative human being. Did you know? WAFCON, did you know?
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Oh, if you forgot what day it is today, hey?
Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
Maybe we can even call it the Tim Sukazi night tonight. He is here, he is in studio. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be beating the drums in a second. Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
MSW.
Why?
It's multicast, you know the story.
When excuses run out,
Such behavior can only be rooted out by VAR, Rob.
the truth clocks in.
It's tough. It's tough.
Hashtag MSW. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Mame Sheikh Nian. What's your favorite song these days?
My favorite, I will tell you my favorite song ever in South Africa.
Okay.
It was Freshly Ground, Tubidu. You remember that song?
Just sing it for me.
Tubidu. That song, Rob, I'll never forget that song. That's the song that brought my. I don't know. There's something about that song that I love. You know. That,
like what? Say it. I think you liked it because it had the lyrics. It's doobie.
But
yeah.
#MSW. #MSW.
All right, I can tell you there's no doobie anything here tonight because this man, he might beat his own drum. I mean, he runs his own race. And he's never been afraid, though, to march to the sound of his own ambitions. And that is a fact. From football agent to administrator to club owner, I mean, he's built a TS Galaxy from the ground up, turning the Rockets into one of the most intriguing and fastest growing brands in South African football. Mark my words on that one. We can argue later if you want to, but he has indeed put forward one of the fastest growing brands in SA football. You talk about a Nedbank Cup fairy tale, the audacious purchase of Highlands Park's top flight status, bold decisions that had to be made, painful lessons, player development and some of the serious transfer business. He's seen the highs, he's also experienced the lows of everything in between. He's also watched young players arriving as rough diamonds and leaving as polished gems. He's also backed coaches. He's taken huge risks and also absorbing criticism and also continue to build a club around a very clear philosophy, which is to develop, compete, sell, and grow. Hey, if you're a farmer, you might be thinking, but that's our philosophy. That's what we do with our crops. Hey, we develop, we compete, we sell, and we grow. But I can tell you one thing, the Rockets are facing another fascinating chapter, a major squad rebuilt. And it is taking place under our eyes. 14 players were signed just the other day. FIFA's registration ban remains in place. He's going to tell us more about that. I get confused about these FIFA bans that they get. But as I say, 14 players signed, done. And that leaves Bernard Parker now to navigate the opening stages of the season with this severely limited options. But 3 games into the season. There's no victory yet. So what does that do to the man at the top? And that's why tonight we go straight to the source, the man who beats the drum, the man who backs his convictions, and the man who survived the setbacks and keeps building. TS Galaxy President Tim Sukazi. He joins me live right here on #MSW. Mr. President, good evening. Good to see you.
Rob, I had not realized ukuthi nginazo ibongo until tonight. You sounded perfectly so well, njengembongi yami. Koroge, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I didn't lie, did I? On any fact. On the point of fact, because you're a lawyer.
Absolute truth, nothing but the truth.
Okay. I love to start on a clean slate.
Very much so.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, man. More so that, as I came here, I remember that I was your first guest in this show.
In the old building.
Precisely, yes, on the 2nd of Feb, 2023. I still remember that very well. And I wished you all the best. I took 5 minutes wishing you all the best in your future endeavors, more specifically with this show. Now, fast forward to this day, I'm so elated to see you having done so well, and the show has become what you had envisaged then. Sure. And I'm pretty much sure that it's going to grow, and be even bigger than big. Well done, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think they always say from your mouth to God's ears, yes. And it's exactly what has happened. And I was blessed a few seconds ago here, being in one room with 2 presidents, yourself and the man I call the president, who's the Gauteng Premier. It really is an honor and a blessing to bring people of your caliber. And when I talk about brands and expansion, you are basically your own brand. Because as you walked in, I think everybody in the control room were like, did he bring his drum? Is he going to do his thing that we see him on TV? And how would you describe a Tim Sukazi in today, the 19th of August, 2026? How do you describe Tim Sukazi, TS Galaxy, and the brand?
Yeah, look, as for myself personally, probably I'm quite a dynamic character, as you would know. I can somersault to this level of life situation to another on the same day, basically. If I were to say today I was somewhere in a squatter camp, you'll believe me. Equally so, if I were to say today I was sitting in a boardroom with the captain of the industry, CEO of a listed company, you'll believe me, And if I would say today I was at a training field or watching a training match, you'll believe me. Identifying talent, you'll believe me. So I take it as God's gift to me. And I think I do everything possible to realize dreams of many, because certainly and without doubt, this is what God requires of me.
Very profound. Do you say that profoundly, even if I were to argue against it, because you also believe in the power of self-defense? Self-defense in a way that legally you've been able to also outmaneuver a lot. But you also find yourself in the middle of what I was saying confuses me at times about the so-called FIFA ban.
Yeah.
Just as when I thought it was lifted, and then we got to read again that it still is in existence and that you can't really trade on the transfer market. What's the latest there?
Yeah, look, Rob, this is pretty much, I think right now is exaggerated conceptually. However, though, it does remain a ban. So what does it entail? This is about an administrative function within FIFA. They've got a house called the FIFA Clearing House. That's where they require clubs across the globe to submit certain information, more to do with the acting against money laundering across the world. So you have to submit yourself. Who are you? Who owns you? Where do you derive your resources to run a club and so forth and so on? So we had a number of glitches. First time around, this thing, when it came to us, they had their own technical glitch. And they said, listen, it's our fault. We are lifting this ban. You can register players. That was early in the year. However, though, when they resolved the glitch, they never got back to us to say, right now, the provisional lifting that we had afforded you is now off the table because the technical glitch is no more. Go and submit your things. We caught wind of it late, when they confirmed the actual ban. But how so? How could they just confirm the ban, but they should have informed us that what was the technical glitch at the time is no more, so that we could go log into the system and submit our papers. And the sad part is that it takes a long time for them to respond and get back to you. Sometimes they do quicker, sometimes they don't. But on matters of critical importance, such as lifting it, actually, as it is the case now, they don't do it. They don't do it as prompt and quick. However, though, last Friday, they wrote to us, actually, that was Thursday, to say, log on the portal. We've got a message for you. So they send you an email. They notify you accordingly. Then you log on. We found a message that says, we are happy all your documents have been submitted. Everything is in order. The committee is sitting tomorrow on on Friday the 14th. Thereafter, we'll let you know in due time. Obviously, we wrote back to understand the meaning of due time in this context, more so that we've started the league. And, they've not been forthcoming with the lifting of the ban, having been given all the information that they asked of us.
So with that information, and I was just noting some of the things that he was saying, I think they wanted to know about your financial reports, so your financial standings, which require, financial statements. And if I'm not mistaken, even information about gate takings.
True that.
So were you able to submit all of those items that they were
very much so?
Yeah.
And interestingly, they take it one step further. Myself, as a so-called UB, ultimate beneficiary, they came to ask about me. Tell us your investments. Where does your money come from? What do you have? This and that and the harder. So you have to lay yourself bare, but then understandably so, to their satisfaction, so as to ensure that clubs are not being run through illicit means, more especially from a financial point of view.
Sure. So what then do you list? Because, you're a man, excuse the pun for those that are watching on the YouTube channel, you're a man that wears a lot of hats. So which one then do you declare in front of FIFA, because you could either say you're a lawyer, of which you are. You can either say you're a football club owner, of which you are. You can always say you're a sports agent. I don't know if you still are, or you're a football administrator. So which one stays, which one drops?
Absolutely. All three that you've mentioned, but one, the agent part, I abandoned that business many days ago. I sold, transferred to Basha Michaels. I think she's doing a fantastic job for herself. That's history. Otherwise, the three that you've mentioned, that's true, obviously. And also, remember that we have an in-house sports apparel production company, Sizzling Sport. That too, we mentioned.
So you make your own apparel, basically.
Yeah, since we were clear on that.
Yeah.
When we were in the third chair, way back then, when we established the club in 2015, we told ourselves we're not going to buy a Kappa or Nike at the time, like Vets were doing, and sell replicas, at a discount and this and that. No, we said we're gonna start our thing from scratch. Sizzling Sport existed then to this day while we were in the PSL, and I'm proud to say probably we produce, or rather we design, one of the best kits.
Who designs them for you?
It's myself and our marketing director. We share ideas. We sit with a pen. I sketch as well. Yes.
So did you sketch your own hat, for example? And what you're wearing right now? I mean, that's a very lovely top.
She did herself. I had no input on this one.
Okay.
For sure. But on the playing kit, for sure, I sign off.
And then going big, though, I mean, for like a store. The other day we were covering Orlando Pirates' old school store opening. So what's your vision around that? Because visibility is important. And if you're a great marketer, you would know that if you're not visible, then there's not much that you're marketing.
As if you're reading our conversations today, I can show my WhatsApp. Just today, she was showing to me the design or the fitting of the shop, just today, current date. I don't know if maybe
I've got a grabber.
I'm quite impressed. Rob. So I have it right here. But then look, obviously we cannot profess ourselves to be experts. There is some skill that we will source out. There are other people who do it. Here and there we involve them as well so that they can at least put the first draft. Maybe we give them the concept, but we work, back and forth, and eventually we put what we want so that we don't have a company that just puts a jersey on our table. We have to wear it. We have to have a kit that talks to our origin, that probably has to talk about the club now, and maybe the history as well. And at the same time, pay homage to our place of origin. And I think we're achieving that.
I mean, which is very, very important. As somebody whose birthplace was Denelton, you have to really come up with the goods there. But maybe to whisper in my ear, because I could see you were whipping out the phone. I thought you were going to share that information with me. But if you were to share some little insight, because you do have a following, and where do you envision that shop to be? We're dealing with Majanga things here.
Exactly.
Wow. This looks great. Is this a concept photo or is
this? We've gotten the measurements of the store in Kwaggafontein Mall. So we started now working on the fitting of the shop. And certainly we're also going to be opening a Sizzling Sport shop in Bombela.
Why Sizzling Sport? Is that the name of the company that you said manufactures?
Yes, and that's the S on our jersey. That's, our logo is on the right side of our kit.
All right, so we're dealing with all things here, guys, and trust me, do send us your WhatsApp voice notes. I'm doing a little zoom in here. Official Tears Galaxy merchandise that is being shown here. I think everybody has spoken about the design, and we've all been big admirers of that because that is the origin. And we saw just the other day when Paddle was being played in Pretoria, and the actual trophies were a design. 100%. So all I'm saying is that that lives in tradition lives long because nobody forgets about it.
True that.
And that is the important thing. Thanks for sharing. I was just taking a wild swig at it, but I am glad to all the listeners to say that it is a shop. True. The concept store is there.
Yes.
And Sizzling Sport is going to sizzle everybody in the same way that your questions or comments are going to be sizzling our ears when we come back.
#MSW. Live
Now
on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. At the same time. #MSW.
Looking for a cell phone network that gives more than it takes? Say hello to NetBank Connect. Buy a qualifying device on Avo Supershop and get 60 gigs free data with a NetBank Connect SIM card once activated. Plus, Greenbacks members can enjoy an extra discount of up to 20% on Avo. Visit netbank.co.za. NetBank. See money differently. We're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
You know a story like hers, a young hustler with a big dream. Will she get the money to build her salon empire? You don't have to wait months to find out. Deal or No Deal South Africa is where lives can change fast. R1 or R250,000, everything could change. Find out now. So don't miss Deal or No Deal every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2.
Lotto Stars, licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18s. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
This is a message from Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some become bone marrow stem cell donors and give blood cancer patients a second chance at life. The South African Bone Marrow Registry needs you to help them make this a reality. I am a stem cell donor, and I ask you to sign up to be a stem cell donor today, or donate to the Patient Assistance Program. Visit sabmr.co.za to find out more.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
Every drive feels like a holiday when you're inside a Suzuki Jimny 5-door. With more space, more freedom, and roads that don't have to be planned. Starting from 439,900. Ready for your next getaway? Book your test drive at suzukiauto.co.za.
Just Andalex it.
Do you have a sore throat? Andalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Andalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Just Andalex it.
Andalex, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Mame Sheikh Niang. You never played for Senegal, the national team.
I played friendly games only.
If you're going to come and play in a top league like South Africa, you know, first season you score 14 goals and you still don't get called up.
I got my first call up while playing for Giraffe in Senegal. Then I went to Swallows, I became top goal scorer of the league. They didn't give me a call up. I went to Germany, I didn't play, they gave me a call up. So the whole thing was telling me, okay, you have to be here to play for the national team. Basically, you have to be in certain leagues to play for Senegal.
So they would recognize the Bundesliga over the PSL?
Over the PSL, even if you don't play enough. In Norway, I was scoring almost every second game. They didn't call me. I came back to Supersport. I scored against Manchester City. They gave me a call up again.
#MSW. #MSW.
And poor Baminyang, his name was never ever called.
Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
Good evening, Mr. Morao and Mr. Blishoras, and good evening to Mr. Tim Sukazi. I just want to applaud him for the tremendous job he has done for Chelsea Galaxy so far. You know, his eye on the young talent. We've seen the likes of Puso, Dithejane, who's currently playing his trade in the MLS. And I just want to find out from him, how is he feeling seeing Puso, you know, making waves in the MLS, and if he has received any offers regarding Useluleko Mahlambi, because I believe he's one of the senior players in the Premier Soccer Soccer League. Then Eswatini, great show as always.
Thank you so much indeed. As we delve into so much about TS Galaxy with their president, Tim Sukazi, who is in studio. And just dealing with that voice note, Tim, we also got a voice note, I think, about 2 weeks ago, talking about the very same player and the impact that he's making within the MLS. What's the latest and what's your feeling now looking at your product?
Yeah, no, I'm very proud, to be honest. Given my history with him, that's why I say sometimes people may want to give credit to me and say I've got an eye for talent. I believe it's an eye of God, to be honest. His story Puso is very fascinating. It was like prophetic on my part to obviously talk to him at the time. And our parting shot on that particular night, I was in London, I remember. Then I said, man, just let me know, should there be anything? You've got a long contract at the club, well done. I wish you well, that you break into the top league and so forth and so on. Hardly a week later, then he drops me a message, Chairman, did you say I should tell you, should there be a problem or anything happen? I said, yes. I said, yeah, I think they're firing me at my club, So I took it from there. It was really my involvement was purely informed by the belief in his talent. And so to see him making a mark in an international market, more so in the MLS where there's Messi and all other big stars or global stars that we've grown to know, it gives me that sense of pride and I feel so much vindicated. And when I look at his actions, I also tend to believe that still has a lot more to offer. Probably the MLS is just but the first step. He's destined for one of the top 5 leagues in Europe, for
But
sure.
if you had to be honest with me, and I know you do get to that honest level when we push you, I don't want to push you yet.
Yes.
But if not MLS, where do you think he belongs?
Look, I've looked at the profiling of certain players in the Bundesliga. I think he has that. And, I've got empirical evidence. It's not just me who thinks about that. We once played Augsburg here, a German club. He took them to the cleaners, to be honest. He even scored against them during their preseason in 2024 then. And he was not the Puso now. His build is stronger. So when you look at them with Alas and other players of a similar making, I think he could fit in that league and he could make a mark. And you look at the South African players who once played there, Skilo, Pinar, Zuma, Siankosi. So you believe that for sure. Yeah, he has that. He could be in the Bundesliga for sure, without doubt.
And how much time are you giving for that transition to happen? Because, we had a player just here last night in Mamenyang who played in the German Bundesliga. And he said the only time they called him up was simply because he was playing in the Bundesliga. That's how much of profile the Bundesliga does have. We've seen in terms of what it's done to a guy like Harry Kane, who would have never been able to get to the heights that he's been able to get to, especially when it comes to UEFA Champions League. How close do you think it would be and how long would it take to make that transition?
In the next 2 years, in my fair estimation, it can't be probably more longer than that. 2 years, obviously depending on his club, if they would be willing to sell. But I'm sure, should he continue right now, and perform in the way he's doing or even more, I think that call will come. It's just a matter of time.
Well, the voice note is also asking about Seluluko as well, just saying that, what's the latest?
There's keen interest, to be honest. However, obviously nothing formal, just talks around the corridors with 2 of the South African football giants, for sure. But then there's never been anything concrete, and I was clear to say I would wish him to also follow in the footsteps of Puso. Should there be an opportunity in the MLS, I would like to see him going there because I believe it's a good stepping stone, for players such as Mahlambi and Puso certainly. If that cannot be achieved, probably he may consider to engage at a later stage.
So you are willing to let him go to an Orlando Pirates, a Kaizer Chiefs or a Sundowns if the overseas door and knock does not happen?
Certainly, and I'll tell you why. I think I went at pain to explain myself last year. I think you just mentioned it in passing. You alluded to it about Mamini Yang.
Yes.
Well, the same human being was never called for his national team while he was here. The same human being, when he lands in Germany, same, nothing has changed. He gets the call up. So the same happens, fortunately or unfortunately, in our country. I had said that Ndamane had to go to Sundowns in order for him to go to the World Cup. I had said Sibilibili had to go to Orlando Pirates in order for him to go to the World Cup. Otherwise, they would have rendered the same or similar performance as they've done at their new clubs. At TS Galaxy, they were never going to see the plane going to the USA.
But what causes that, though, Tim? Is it just the fact that the coaches of the national teams don't take a TS Galaxy seriously and the kind of players that you churn out, or there's doubt about the level that a TS Galaxy would have as opposed to a Pirates, a Sundowns, a Kaizer Chiefs, although Hugo Bruce didn't really favor much in terms of Chiefs players?
Yeah, no, look, personally, I think not much is being done really in looking for players. I'd never seen Hugo Bruce set out matches in Bombela, but I've seen him never ever. But I've seen him a number of times in Gauteng. That alone, or even his assistant. And from the person who watches football religious, such as myself, I promise you, Rob, at some point I felt like I could assemble another national team that could beat what Bruce had assembled for the World Cup. Honestly, yes, we have got players. Clubs like Skukune do have players. At Amazula could pick up a player. Also at Richards Bay, I could pick up a player. I know which players exactly at what club, for sure, for no doubt about it.
So I think based on what you're saying, and sorry to cut in here,
Yes.
I find it very fascinating, and being a football minded, I know you go to tournaments nobody even knows about, and you sit there in your car and you're scouting for players, and you take those players and you bring them over to TS Galaxy, or even at the time when you were still an agent, you would sell them off to other parts of the country. Based on what you're saying that if a player does not have noise around him, he is not considered a possibility for the national team.
Absolutely.
So you have to make a lot of noise about a player for him to be actually heard about in the corridors of Bafana Bafana.
And the nature and the identity of the noisemaker also matters. So you could make noise as TS Galaxy or fans or here and there, have a few exchanges on social media, it won't matter. However, if it's made probably at Orlando or at Naturena, it does matter, or even at Lorkop, it does matter, So that's the nature of things. And almost, I think it's a human defect to me, with reference to the national team selectors, because we are depriving our country, certain and other human beings, players, deserving players, the opportunity to play international football for the good of the country. As I've said, we do have players at certain clubs. I look at them every day, I say, this one should be in the national team. It's just that I can't mention them here.
I was about to say, why don't you just tell me maybe 4 or 5 of the players that you feel have gone unnoticed and should have boarded the plane to America?
Maybe I could mention 1 or 2, more especially if I were to look at Hugo Bruce's principles, of the game. He emphasized a lot on physicality, which is the reason why Relay never played. Relay was never, or not in the plans, by the way. It was just, it so happened that Zwane got a red card and the opportunity presented itself, and, it became impressive. If he were to stand to that principle, maybe there's a striker at Skukune. He shouldn't have left. There's a striker that's Kukune, just number 3. I think Ndlovu is the name. For example, just to illustrate, just making probably one example. And similarly, Richards Bay last season, maybe the boys injured, had a striker, still a novice, but he could have been groomed into the national team as well. Puso himself, for example, and indeed, Mahlambi, if I were to come home. So we do have players. It just needs people to take time and trouble and watch these clubs and watch these players and really make a fair selection. More so if you had to compare, the Ndlovu probably to Lyle Foster. Without criticizing Lyle, I think he went there in a very bad shape. Otherwise, nothing against him. But then I don't think he was a deserving player at the time during the World Cup to be there at the expense of maybe this player that I've mentioned, just as an example. Otherwise, nothing against him. I mean, he's played for big clubs in Europe and now he's in the English. He was in the English Premiership just before the World Cup. Nothing against. But at the time, you could see that he's heavy. He was heavy during the World Cup. Prior to the World Cup, when we played that country at Orlando, it was crystal clear, even at the time, and even prior, he wasn't playing at his lap, he wasn't scoring any goals. What's the first criteria, for example, of selecting a striker? He should be hitting the net. Yeah, current form, and it should be. And with the World Cup, we take the best of what we have. It's not a question that is 34 or 33 or what. You take your best of what you have into an international tournament.
But again, it goes back to what we were talking about, the reputation and which club exposes you. So if you're playing in the Premier League, that's already a plus factor. So regardless of current form, that was my reading. But you have...
It's a Mama and Young story.
You know the story.
Yeah.
And if you were listening yesterday, you would know exactly what we're talking about. I mean, you've had Abos Fisongobeni, Zuko, Kabusa, Edson Kumalo, Kamagu, Devulana, there's Mpomauke, Enslin Williams, Simtandile Sishi, Bongani van der Heerde, Lenoma Tebola, Azola, Jagalashe, there's Tebelo Chikweta, there's Keke. I can go on, 14 names plus. But you're not able to use any of these, despite you saying to the world, these are going to be our players. So how long can you hold these players without FIFA saying, go ahead? Because that also puts pressure on your coach now because the results aren't forthcoming.
Yeah. Look, I think it's a matter of time, to be honest, because they wrote specifically, they responded to my last submission to say you have submitted everything we had asked of you. Our committee is sitting on the 14th, which is last week Friday, and we will get back to you in due time. I would want to believe that due time would be as soon as possible, in the next few days at least, or even before our match next week. Why is that? Because I think I had overly emphasized the real fact that we had started with our league program, and therefore us not being able to use our newly signed players is causing some serious prejudice. Obviously, they would know that there could be some repercussions, should obviously this unintended harm continue and to our own detriment over a period of a season.
Bernard Parker, there was always a debate. I don't know if it was your debate or maybe as the public we were debating whether you would stick with him to be your coach getting into the new season. Like I say, doubt initially. What do you say to us publicly now? What is the official line for those who might not have heard?
Yeah, obviously he's our head coach right now. And I would say without any fear of contradiction that the country is yet to see the best of Bernard Parker's contribution in football. We have seen him play, but now he has taken this journey. I repeat, the country is yet to see the best of him.
As a coach?
Yes, best of his contribution in football holistically. Yeah. I think he'll do better as a coach than as a player. That's my opinion.
Because there was a stage where you were saying that if you don't have, for example, a UEFA A,
yes,
the pro license, or you don't have CAF A license, then there's no way you're going to be coaching TS Galaxy. What's your standpoint now?
Look, as a foreign coach, for sure, that standpoint remains. However, with local talent, so I'm seized with the God's responsibility of identifying the best of talent available for the good of our football. So he is such talent. I rate him highly. And I think with him, with some levels of empowerment, be it coaching, education, and so forth and so on, he will even be better than what is showing now. And to that effect, I think he's going off to Lithuania to do his UEFA Pro license. So I think that will help him a lot.
So because then it interrupts him being there for the season, what happens when he's away for his learnership?
Yeah, he will go. We've put the dates when we won't be playing. I think there will be a FIFA week in and around late September to October. And he will be back in the country some 2-3 days before our next game.
Rob, this is Gift here in extension for Soweto in Snake Park. Robert, you have a very, very, very respectable man there. The one who watches soccer with the stakeholders. I mean the fans. He beat the drums with the fans there. I don't have many because of you already give a very, very, very fed introduction to him. So what I will ask for him is to give Bernard Parker a chance. But I know that he's not a CEO who always fires coaches. Just give Parker a chance to coach, and then so that we have more coaches here in South Africa, so that even when the national team need a coach, we have a lot to choose from. Good show as always, Robert Marawa.
Baba Marawa, uhlengwane lo ngilakwana ngoma KZN. No, to Babu team. Firstly, let me say thank you for keeping Bernard Parker. The guy is good. He's good. I think after 10 years, he will be the best coach after Peter and Roland. I strongly believe he is that good. One question, why you said to be a selling team? Because if you can keep your player, I think by now you'll be challenging the league, the cups. Because if you check the player that you released for the past 5 years, Abo, Batusi, Telezi, Puso, all those top players that you decided to sell them. If you kept that player, you can be challenging the league. What makes you decide that you are a selling team? Because you look like you're a stable man. Like I don't think you are that. I think you're stable. You're stable. So why are you trying to be a selling team? Thanks, Robert.
Are you stable? Yes or no?
Stability of the mind, sanity at all given times, yes.
Okay, sure. We'll come back after the break and we answer the question of a selling team.
Hashtag MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. Hashtag MSW.
I'm a millionaire, and yes, I am a millionaire, and not a Mampara. I said goodbye to Mampara week long ago. And I know you're not a Mampara. Say it with me. I'm not a Mampara. Then go play the lotto for just 5 rand so that you're not weak on Mampara Week. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sukazi.
Success used to be about impressing everyone else. Today, it's about making smarter decisions, choosing more value, more technology, more comfort, without paying more than you need to. That's why more South Africans are discovering Bike. The Bike X55 Plus from just 4,299 per month, and the all-new Bike B30 from 5,899 per month. Explore the range and book your test drive at bike.co.za. T's and C's apply. Bike. Drive your ambition.
Your car has a story. Where it's been, how much further it can go. At Wheelie, we value that too. That's why we only buy quality pre-owned cars. Share your car details online in just 2 minutes. Get a free valuation, and if you're happy with the offer, we pay you instantly. Selling to Wheelie is quick, safe, and easy. Visit wheelie.co.za. That's WEELEE.co.za.
Everybody wants you to rent from them, but no one wants to meet you halfway. Until now. Sani Sixt Rent-A-Car introduces zero holding deposit to car rental. The first to cut you some serious slack. You pay zero holding deposit when you book selected vehicles. Skip the holding deposit and get straight into your rental. Let your money travel with you and enjoy the zero deposit convenience. Rent Sani Sixt. It's not just car rental, it's freedom from the hold. T's and C's apply.
Hey Siri. Okay Alexa, you could ask the internet, or you could ask someone that's helped hundreds of customers take on the very same project. Come to the grand opening of Chamberlain East Rand on 1 September and experience service done differently. Need the right paint? We'll help you choose it. Not sure which drill you need? We'll point you in the right direction. Visit Chamberlain East Rand at 26 Great North Road, Benoni, and come and experience knowledgeable, friendly, reliable service as well as unbelievable opening deals. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of my well-rested family protected by Expander Pro security barriers. One of their pros came out to my home and gave me a free security assessment. All my custom-made security gates and burglar bars were installed within days of placing my order. I was so impressed with their service, quality, price, and guarantees. I even got roller shutters installed at my business. Visit expander.co.za to request a quote. Expander. Real security for real people, real fast.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Conversations surrounding African football. He has traded the boots for the coaching badge. Maminian. Oh, long weekend.
Second time I've been in your show. I enjoy it always when I come.
And you were saying it's 8 years.
8 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
8 years ago. I left after my wedding in Stellenbosch.
Hey, you live a nice life. Huh? You get married in Stellenbosch.
That's happened when you marry white people. Eh? They take you everywhere.
Was that intentional? How did you meet your wife?
No, we met actually in Norway. Yeah. When I was playing in Norway. So when I moved to South Africa, she decided to come with me.
Oh.
So she visited Stellenbosch and fell in love. Said, I want to get married here New Year's Eve. We had actually 35 guests from Norway on that wedding.
Did they fly in from Norway? Or?
Flying from Norway to Stellenbosch.
You never know, because Cape Town's full of Norwegians.
Yeah,
they really don't even have to fly there. They're really...
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Oh my word, he went for power.
From boardrooms to touchlines.
He and his executive committee are dead men walking.
We connect the dots. Monday to Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Hashtag MSW.
I forgot what day it is. My goodness, what day is this?
Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
Of course, it is a Wednesday, it is soccer night, it is hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide, wherever you are around the country, the continent, or the world. Tim Sukazi is my guest. He's the president of TS Galaxy. And as we're heading into the break, we decided not to have a break, but to have a... Yeah, what do you have it? A whole negotiation here. Because we were looking at the situation as it stands in front of us here, the voice notes that are coming in, the messages that are coming in from Facebook, looking at the YouTube channel and what is going on. And we've negotiated and he's agreed that we're going to do what, Tim?
Extend our time.
And for the next 30 minutes after 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Thank you so much for allowing us to do that. So there you have it. If you're thinking, he's not going to get to my voice note, we'll get to every voice note. That much I can guarantee you. We'll also take your calls. We'll look at the voice notes and the messages on Facebook and the YouTube channel so that we try and cover as much ground as we possibly can. Tim, before we hit the break, there was that question about you being a selling team, saying that if you weren't selling as much, you would be competing. You'd probably be winning the league.
True that. There's some element of truth to that. However, though, I think I had explained myself and I don't mind doing it again. We sell for a number of reasons. There are players whom we believe that they deserve an opportunity at a higher level, more especially the national teams. Damani is an example. I've spoken about Sibilibili, for example. Obas is also another example. These players, without doubt, had they been here or had they stayed at TS Galaxy, probably only one, or they would not have had a chance at national level. So in order for that to be achieved, to profile also the club, the kind of talent that we are able to churn out, we have to transfer them. And indeed, that brings about resources into the club, into our own project, and then we are able to reinvest and strengthen the club. We stay to be challenged, of course, not easy to sell probably 5-6 of your starting 11 and in the next season be competitive in this league. It's a very tough league. But then, by the grace of God, we've been able to do that. The more we're able to give bigger and better opportunity to his children, the more he affords us and gives us, he shows us where the talent is.
But with that model, so I look at the model, the business, the model that you're describing now, can you genuinely become a top 4 team with the kind of business model that you have currently?
Certainly, yes, we can. Definitely, I have no doubt. More especially if you look at our acquisitions now, PT, they haven't played. We have sort of categorized them. We have packaged them nicely. We know who's ready now, who's ready in the next 3 months, who's ready in the next 6 to 9 months. And they are very young. Our squad is quite young. I think last Sunday or since the season has started, even last season, we were playing it least no less than 4 players who were born in 2006. So we are building. You can see that the future is quite bright. If these kids could stand their own ground in this tough league and be part of a team that would beat a Mamelodi Sundowns, for example, then that augurs well for the future of this club and us being competitive, more especially if we are able to bring on board the talent in good numbers like we've done this season.
Okay, let's head off to Pretoria. We go to Maxwell. Maxwell, good evening. You're from Mpumalanga, right? If I'm not mistaken, originally.
You are quite right.
You want to say something to Tim?
Yes, Big Boss, good evening, and thanks, Marawa, for the opportunity. What I like about Bratim Marawa is this thing. If it's wrong, he acknowledge the mistake that he might have done. I remember this a month ago. He clashed with Mbombela mayor, and they came back and hugged the mayor. Then they sorted out the issue of the lease at the stadium in Mbombela. But it's one person who, if he believes in you, because there is this saying that you need one person or so to believe in you, to empower you. Bennett Parker has found that man in Team Sukazi. I like his model of football where if he thinks that this player is bigger than his team, he can manage to sell the player at the end of the day. Lastly, Pratim, I'm asking whoever is penciling the Premier Soccer League, Pratim, ask him next season. I want to watch TS Galaxy and Mamelodi Sundowns 3 o'clock weekend. Tuesday situation, it must stop. Thank you so much, Bob Marawa, and thanks, Pratim. Love you lots.
Tim, somebody also said last week, says, why is TS Galaxy playing all of their games on a Tuesday? They would love it to stop. And as Maxwell was saying, what's the deal?
Yeah. Look, I think he's making a point. I had declared, I think some 2-3 years ago, that outside the Soweto Derby, there's a new rivalry in South African football. That is TS Galaxy versus Mamelodi Sundowns. That match is not a normal match. You can go to all the files, you'll see what I'm talking about. And therefore, I think he's got a point that it deserves to be played on a Saturday afternoon. And strange enough, year in, year out, I think this is the 3rd year in a row where it comes out. Our home game is always on a Tuesday night, But then it's a system, that generates these kind of fixtures. How is it possible that it could be so consistent? I'm not sure.
But would you say it's the same system as what made the then Maritzburg United have fixtures on a Friday? So it became a big fixture on a Friday to say, hey, come to Maritzburg and watch games. Or was that a request from the club to say this works better for us to have Friday night football?
That's a differentiator. In Maritzburg case at the time, I would want to believe that Friday was their preferred date. So when you complete your membership form for the new season, you do have to indicate, your preferred dates of playing your fixtures. So not necessarily membership form, but there's a form that you do systematically. You have to indicate which days would you prefer. So we are a Sunday club. We prefer Sundays. Then the second day, outside Sunday, is a Saturday. And then if there's nothing else, obviously a Friday. We have never penciled a Tuesday.
So then how does Tuesday become a date that is almost seen as a favorite date for you?
It could be issues or matters of convenience. Remember, the Sundowns are the perennial winners of our league, and therefore they play consistently in the Champions League. Probably the Tuesday comes as a more favorable day so as to allow them to play, on a Saturday a Champions League game or even a cup. However, though, the strange part is exactly that only to us they choose the issue, more to us than other teams, of course.
Well, especially if it's a Tuesday night. To what benefit does a working person do with a Tuesday night? It really, really, for me, makes absolutely no sense.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. Ukhuluma noSibongeleni Wamkhwane, and good evening to Mr. Tim Sukazi, one of my favorite chairmen go Betway Premiership, Mr. Marawa. Firstly, let me applaud Ubaba Sukazi for entrusting Bernard Parker to lead his team this season as a head coach. Remember, he was an interim coach toward the end of the season last season, and he managed to took the team to a Nedbank Cup final. What I want to know from Ubaba Sukazi is that what mandate he has set for Bernard Parker this season, since he has become the head coach of ETS Galaxy. And lastly, I just want to wish Ubaba Sukazi and the rest of the TS Galaxy family, the Rockets, everything of the best. Mr. Marawa, thank you. Good show as always.
That's a favorite people ask about mandates. Is that something you've put down for Bernard?
Certainly not. And the reasons, I think, are within his statement, Usbongeleni. Yes, Sbongeleni. Why? Because I think we all agree now that with Parker, we are in a dual building phase, rebuilding the club, and his career as a coach, and when you do that, you don't want to put him under unnecessary pressure. All you need to do is to be able to be there to assist, to guide, to counsel him when it's be. All I expect and I would wish for him is to be the best of what he can be.
Right. Let me just take a couple of the Facebook questions. I'm going to come back to you, who's calling us, and also to the voice notes. Enoch Matla says, is he grooming someone among the family to guide the team when he gets old? I mean, you're a 1972 baby.
Not even.
Yeah, you're not even that close.
Not even. Interesting question, though. Look, obviously, I would want to believe that I'm at my prime right now. And indeed, I am surrounded and I've put together a team of young executives within the club. And you'll be astonished to know that none of them probably were never in football prior to being at TS Galaxy. So I identify talent in different ways, at all levels or all spheres of life where I get to be involved. In this case, I think our executives are quite good. They will be great in the near future. So it's not a question of a family member who's supposed to be. And indeed, if someone within the family comes up and they also show certain qualities, deservedly so, they'll be part of the journey. Right now, I think we've got a very solid exco, and they will be fantastic for South African football in the future.
All right. If you join us a little bit later, we are going to be extending for another 30 minutes after 7 o'clock. So you can join the YouTube channel for the conversation and also log in your questions there. Sipo, I see you. But I thought one that's very important that we take before we break away. And I'm glad Ulihle on Facebook has also compounded on the question, saying that does he believe that the PSL needs a governance overhaul? Because now it looks like players refereeing their own match. Do we need more independence on the board?
Yeah, interesting question. Personally, I've served at boards, a number of boards, state-owned, private entities and so forth. And as you would know, by their nature, those boards do become independent, And that was my first thought process, obviously, about football as well, to say probably under an independent board, things could be done differently, thinking my way, of having chaired boards and, certain critical committees within boards, audit committees, legal committees, and so forth and so on. However, though, when you get to football, and when you're within, I have now had the opportunity of serving at the NSL Exco for the last 2 years, you come to realize that there is so much that has been done over the years and achieved an institutional memory within the seniors of the game. I'm talking now Dr. Koza and Dr. Mutaung, for example. These people, they've got so much. If you were to eradicate such institutional memory, I think we'll be making a fundamental error. So it is the situation as it is right now. And unfortunately, it so happens that other board exco members also are club owners. And when their time comes, if it will come at all, or whatever the case may be, probably they will also be having so much. The game is slightly different to normal corporate. Here is a different proposition completely altogether. I would say we have a chairman of the league who's still at his age, in all honesty, very sharp, quite incisive, and he's got so much knowledge and the history. We have to go and suck in there and have to know things that we don't know, but we ought to know, because otherwise if we lose him, if we lose Dr. Mutaung without some of us having gone the journey with them, probably it will be a huge loss. So it's a very tricky balancing act.
So because we have to leave.
It needs to be phased in.
We will continue the conversation, so don't go anywhere. We just need to hand over the lines there. But do you believe in a yes or no that you would be the most likely and more deserving chairman to be the chairman of the PSL?
Myself?
Yeah.
I have never imagined myself. Obviously, it will have to depend on the prevailing circumstances at the time. Today now, I don't have the ambition of got a highly capable chairman.
I'm saying if he was not there, but find out the answer when you come back as well. This has been Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Play the game again. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW live now on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Mame Sheikh Niang. You never played for Senegal, the national team.
I played friendly games only.
If you're going to come and play in a top league like South Africa, first season you score 14 goals and you still don't get called up.
I got my first call up while playing for Giraffe in Senegal. Then I went to Swallows, I became top goal scorer of the league. They didn't give me a call up. I went to Germany, I didn't play, they gave me a call up. So the whole thing was telling me, okay, you have to be here to play for the national team. Basically, you have to be in certain leagues to play for Senegal.
So they would recognize a Bundesliga over the PSL?
Over the PSL, even if you don't play enough. In Norway, I was scoring almost every second game. They didn't call me. I came back to Supersport. I scored against Manchester City. They gave me a call up again.
#MSW. #MSW.
He's in a league of his own.
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
And it goes through to the boundary.
This is where sport breaks, bends, and gets told straight.
All of us there have our smallanyana skeletons.
#MSW on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
They call it referee's optional time. If you're playing football, it's extra time. If it's a cup game, hey, it's hydration break. It's whatever you want to call it. But thank you so much for staying the course with us right here on #MSW. An important conversation. And the reason why we are extending is to try and fit every question and to try and exhaust, although it is impossible, the conversation altogether with the president of TS Galaxy, Tim Sukazi. Sipho is in La Mzansi. Not too sure exactly where you are, Sipho, but welcome to the show.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm very good. Welcome. You want to chat to Tim and congratulate him.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Tim Sukazi. How are you, sir?
Ngiyaphila Sipho, kunjani mfowethu?
Hi, fine, sir. Yeah, it's Sipho, the newly accredited and licensed FIFA football agent. I just want to congratulate Mr. Tim Sukazi for the great work that he is doing. And I just want to let him know that he is my inspiration. That is why today I have been licensed by FIFA as a football agent. And yes, I've been looking up to him since I was young. So, Mr. Tim Sukazi, you are playing a very important role in the lives of the players and also in our lives as a community at large. So I just want to say I wish you all the best. And I want you to know that you deserve to be the chairperson of the PSL as a whole, not only the chairperson or rather the president of your team. So I'm very grateful that you are such a very great leader, sir. So ngiyathokoza ukukhuluma nawe with Team Sukazi. I'm always listening to the show, but today I'm very much excited that Rob is hosting you. Thank you very much, sir.
Maybe get a response from Tim.
Yeah, ngezwa mfo Sipho ngiyathokoza ngithokoza kakhulu. You know, I always say to our people, at least those who are at the closest proximity with myself, that our work has to inspire people that we know and people that we don't know. As a matter of fact, it does. And it's very important. People look up to us and they see their dreams being fulfilled. So it's not so often that I get to know or hear of such stories. It's so fulfilling when I do. And I hope it's not only you. There are many others out there that are inspired by us on a daily basis. And we shall keep on keeping on and hopefully get more quality people within, you know, the football game itself, such as yourself, Sipho. Well done on your license. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, Sipho. Well done, eh?
Okay, thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much indeed. And, you know, just based on the inspiration, there's more.
Hi, Rob. It's Sipho Masula here, a newly accredited and licensed FIFA football agent.
Yeah, that's Sipho that we've just heard from some. I'll cancel that one, but he had sent a voice note, then we were able to get him onto the line, which is absolutely fine. Maybe let's wrap on that issue of the chairmanship, and also just to clarify that we're not talking about you know, coming in now and trying to bulldoze your way into becoming the chairman. And I think what Sipho says, and that was pretty much my line of questioning, is that there would have to come a time when there's a handover, you know, to somebody else, like it happens in presidential races and chairmanships and whatever position one is given in life. But when that situation would come through, would you look at yourself as the person, given your experience, given your other talents as a legal mind, given your other talents as a business person, given your other talents as a football person, to be that next chairman of the PSL?
Yeah, look, should that time come, Rob, and obviously the game itself, the football custodians call for it, I'll be hard-pressed to say no, to be honest. Humbly so, you know, probably the most versatile person within the game. There are not so many corporate lawyers in the game itself who have transitioned their football careers into a football club establishment and ownership, and obviously keep it alive against all odds and so forth and so on. And indeed, I think it really, on the law side, I've done some heavy lifting, you know, over the years, and that could come in handy, and indeed within football itself. So, but everything has got its time. Should the game call for it? Should the custodian say so at that time? Should that time happen to arrive? I'll be hard pressed to say no. Otherwise, I'll be letting down maybe the game itself, and many people obviously who look up to me and who believe in what I can do, in my abilities overall.
And again, here we're just shooting in the dark. If there had to be one item, whether constitutionally or otherwise, that you would feel the need to change within, you know, the Premier Soccer League or the NSL as it is known, to accommodate all the other clubs in the lower division, if you had to change the one thing that now maybe frustrates you or maybe is forward thinking, and you're thinking maybe we're a little bit in the dark, we're thinking backwards as opposed to being forward, what would that change be?
Look, probably along the lines of the question I was answering earlier that I had not, I didn't get to complete because of our time cutoff on the other platforms. So I would probably look into the issue of how possible is it to make the league quite dynamic at call it high-level management, you know. Because I'm wary. Obviously, I've been exposed to skill. You know, I've been exposed to skill proper. I know what the country has. I would want to see more of these people coming. They don't necessarily need to sit at Exco, but I think they could play a huge role and contribute a lot within the game itself, just using their pure skill and talent, and obviously through professional training. We have very good talent in this country. I would like to see them being involved at that time. That's one thing for sure that I could enable from our constitutional document. But generally, I would have to sit and look at it carefully, clause by clause. It's quite natural for a lawyer to find different views on certain clauses, and to the extent that they make sense and we take legal opinion on it, or at least we take a collective view on them in the form of an agreement, for sure I would propose certain changes.
Or even at times as a lawyer yourself, is to try and plug some of the loopholes that might exist that other people might want to exploit. So what I'm going to do as well is play a couple of voice notes. I'll take notes on a lot of them because there are a few, and then we'll come back with Tim and answer your questions.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. Good evening to the chairman himself, Mr. Sukazi. Yes, sir. Yeah, well done to him. Yeah, I'm a Paris fan, but obviously he's my home. That's why our home team, it takes Galaxy. People don't understand having a PSL soccer team, what it does to the local economy, from Abomama selling on the streets to the hotels, etc. Well done to him and all the best going forward. Just a question, Mr. Marawa, and your guest, Mr. Sukazi, because there's been a whole lot of talk regarding the Women's League, a proper one. What does it think it will take to have a properly structured women's league? Because according to me, by virtue of a team having a PSL status, they're supposed to have automatically a women's team, hence like the DDC, For me, that's the best way forward, because we need a properly structured women's league. I don't know what's the chairman's take there. Great shows always, Mr. Marawa, Big Mikey and Kensington.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to Chairman Tim Sukazi, my future PSL chairman. The reason I'm saying this man understands the whole football ecosystem, owning a club at the highest level, a women's team, and also having an academy at the development ranks says a lot about his pedigree in as far as football administration is concerned. But thank you for giving Bernard Parker an opportunity to coach at the highest level. Question to you, it's relating to Matume Molai, unveiled as TS Galaxy player last season, never got opportunity to play for the club. What would have been the circumstances that prevented him from playing? Because he's one exceptional player, which I believe Pirates signed a diamond, having watched him at one of the development tournaments in Soshanguve. He's got brilliant football IQ. Thank you so much, Tebogoye.
Good evening, Rob. Slochi is Mr. President, Tim Sukazi. Just a quick one, Mr. President. We do know that a bulk of your matches regarding the Betway Premiership, you play them at Mbombela Stadium. Are you perhaps going to take some of your games to KwaSotsoro, Solomon Mahlangu, because it seems as if you have made that stadium a fortress, especially you look at your run in the Nedbank Cup, So maybe transferring that form into the league when you take some of your leagues lapaya KwaSotsoro. Thank you very much. Kamza here, Edlamini.
Evening, Rob. Evening to you and your esteemed guest. Today's show was feeling like something you used to have in the past called the chairman's chair. And we're honored to have the TS Galaxy chairman in studio. A beautiful concept that they had. Support their ideas and their innovation. Very world class. And just like Umam Esther, who I know is their number one fan, I just want to ask, I think the last time we saw her at the stadium was when TS Galaxy beat Kaizer Chiefs in the Nedbank Cup final. So I just wanted to ask him about that experience, the honor of having her sit with him and watch that game and having TS Galaxy also win. How was that experience and that honor of interacting with such a great national treasure in Mama Esther Mahlangu?
Hi, Rob. Tabiso Mtabaeza here. I met Tim Sukazi via Mauta since I'm Mauta's childhood friend. But that guy, man, it's something else. And what a brave man. I mean, everything that he touches becomes a diamond. I mean, he started his law firm. He knew that heavyweights are in Sandton, and he made sure that his law firm is in Sandton, Tim Sukazi Inc. He started QTS Sports. Q2S Sports became one of the biggest sports agents in South Africa. He started TS Galaxy. Look where is TS Galaxy now. That guy is an innovator, dreamer, hard worker, everything that I can name. He's something else. Special character.
Good evening, Robert. Jody here. TS Galaxy is doing good things. I like their signings, and I'm really looking forward. The Ainsley Williams, that youngster, we want to see him play this season. Bright future ahead of him. Hope he'll get some game time. Thanks for an awesome show. Hope TS Galaxy finish well this season. Salute.
It's Robert, Asiano, Tim Sukazi. That man, has taken boys from the streets. He saw talent in these boys and took them to TS Galaxy. If I were to count the players that Tim Sukazi brought to TS Galaxy, and most of them are playing for other teams, honestly, he reminds me of Jomo Sono when he started Jomo Cosmos. Jomo Sono had an eye for talent. Tim Sukazi is the same. He has an eye for talent. But at the same time, Tim Sukazi is very smart when it comes to making the point that TX Galaxy stays in the Premier League. He knows his story. And it's easy to tell because he was an agent, So, and he's a legal eagle. So, actually, this man, I respect Tim Sukazi, honestly. So, he knows his story. He knows what he wants. It's not everyone, eh? Congratulations, Tim Sukazi, to be on MSW. Robert has always given you flowers from when he started MSW, my brother. Congratulations for putting food on these boys, houses, helping their parents. These boys that you take from the streets, having nothing. And today they are able to feed their parents and their siblings and have houses. You know what? It's not everyone, eh? What you're doing is good. It's as good as employment, employing, oh God. God bless you, my brother. God bless you from taking that little boy, that nobody knows about. Etc., etc. Congrats, my brother.
Good evening, Rob. Rob, we've got Rudolph here, Makubelo, all the way from Van Vexpan village in Mokopane. Look, Rob, today in studio, you've got the mastermind of football, a man who can really improve a talent from nothing to something. Big up to Tim Sukazi. We so wish, man, Tim Sukazi can come this side of Mokopane to identify some proper talent that can be nurtured in TS Galaxy. Thank you, Rob.
I mean, I can play voice note after voice note, Tim. Let me just give you an opportunity to maybe just answer overall. You don't have to go to a specific one.
Yeah.
I'll guide you to ones that needed you to answer directly because I did make notes while they were being on. But just from what you're saying, and others are just not questions, it's outpouring of belief in you. What do you make of what you've heard?
Yeah, no, look, obviously I'm humbled, to realize that people are looking at our work and, they seem to be taking a leaf out of our book of life in general. So that pushes us to the edge. We have to do more and better and improve and bring this giant TS Galaxy to take its rightful place within the South African football landscape. Of course, I think there was a question about a women's game. I think in my view is that without financial backing, it will remain to be in a shambolic state. We do need some funding mobilization of the funds from the captain of the industry, but then obviously someone has to really do that and develop a sort of a capital raising model and get on with it. I don't know if it's been done, it has failed. I'm not there, and other things though, other elements. We've got a lot to say. Our senior national team takes a flag more often than not, more especially this tournament, and there are some, because I'm there, I see so many things, other factors probably that contribute to the performance that we see or the inconsistent performance or lack thereof. You have a situation there that you would have coaches on the bench who are coaches at clubs. and managers at clubs, and if you look at the composition of the women's Banyana squad, largely players from those clubs, bar Mamelodi Sundowns. I think that also has got its own effect. I'm saying now because I watch players. Sure. I know who's a player at Richmond. He probably could be in the national team. You'll never see a player from there, but you'll see an underperforming club, maybe let's say UWC, dominating the squad. Yet last year maybe they came out position 5. Even now they're still struggling in their stream, and because they've got their own coach there, Coach Tina. I think definitely the coach will always call up the players that they know. It's not their fault. If Safa puts them there, then that's what's going to happen. What else should happen? What else do we expect? Those type of things. But overall, I think it boils down to lack of funding, and the game is pretty much in a shambolic state. We're playing in a different model this year, 2 streams. I think it's got it. In my view, it's meant to achieve certain things, but then I think we sort of it defeats its own purpose from my own point of view. I think there was a question about Mulai, interesting saga there, because obviously I saw him. Mm-hmm. I identified him. We were playing his former club, then Leicester City, in a training match. And we reached agreement with the player, and the club had just been transferred. And, unfortunately, we couldn't reach agreement. It became a legal issue. At some point or another, he asked me, he said, Chairman, can I please just go there, gain some game time? It was him and Anselin Williams. The other gentleman spoke about him. Big talent. In Williams' case, it was different. His contract actually was about to end in this season, at Leicester Fort. Remember, they were JDR at the time. So there were some legal technicalities, more especially when coming to a player not being paid, you'd know that, that contract would be a repudiation in terms of football laws. And once you repudiate, the other party accepts that, then the contract is off. But still, you'll find a panel rather finding in favor of the club under those circumstances. We didn't want to take it much far because his career was at stake. I believe in him. He's got immense talent. He should be a big hit at Orlando Pirates as soon as he get the opportunity. And should we have the opportunity to get him back, we'll definitely do that. Williams is within our fold, therefore a lot is coming from him. Solomon Mahlangu Stadium, indeed, it has proven to be a good fortress for sure. No one should be coming out from Solomon Mahlangu. No maximum points should be lost there, in all truth. And we're building up nicely towards obviously having as many games as possible there, or at least equally, because we are a club of the province. Mbombela has been, when Solomon was not ready, Mbombela Stadium has been. And at some point, there was a season when we lost only 2. We drew 1, we won all the other games, I think 12. So we have also, I think, asserted ourselves there, and it became, in the course of time, our fortress, and so we could collect points there. So we cannot just abandon it. We are a club of the province at the end of it all. So, but there needs to be parity. Right now we have 5 matches at Solomon. That's the league matches. It's historic. This season is for the first time, and 10 at Mbombela. We're getting closer to achieving the parity. What's the difference? Out of a total of 15, 3 or 2, 7 could be there or 8. Sure. So we are there.
It's a done thing these days, I've seen clubs now who are sprinkling their home games into other provinces or other cities as well. So I think people just have a desire to see top flight football. Now you've got a new neighbor with Kruger coming through, which is great, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. So you're saying that Kwasotoro, definitely?
Kwasotoro, Kwasotoro. Belgahobo in Lembikani pass.
I don't know, from my notes, the one that's still outstanding is Esther Mahlangu. I mean, she's turned 90 or she's turning 90 this year? Yes, I mean, you have your birthday in December, she has her birthday in November.
Yes. Humbling to know that you have that in mind.
No, for sure.
I need you next to me next time I cut a birthday cake, Rob. Remember that.
We have to do these things.
Yeah, man. Sukazi, appreciate life. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And she's been one of them. And that's why museums herald her work internationally. They've heralded her work. And I think the question that was coming through is, what was that feeling like? Yeah. Because you brought it to the stadium when you played against Kaizer Chiefs.
Sure. I don't think would ever have such experience and the feeling, therefore, that came with it. To be honest, I remember vividly, what went down. It came as in the form of a premonition of some sort. A week prior to the final. I was attending an event down the street in Kamerafir. She happened to be there. I was given a mic to say something and congratulate the couple, on their 5th anniversary. And when she was there, then I invited her to go with me, and I put it in plain language to say, Gogo, you will be by my side. So I said it in Ndebele. Ngathi uzokhamba nami nangena etatawini Moses Mabhida. Ngiyokuthatha unongorwana. I'll walk with you to the podium. I was so sure good to win a trophy le.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I said it. I said I'm taking you to Moses Mabhida. Uyothatha unongorwana. That's the trophy in Ndebele.
Not just ukuthi uzoba guest
No. You will be by my side when I walk in the tunnel.
Yeah.
And it so happened, and indeed, organizing her, getting her down from the lifts, it was full, it was packed.
Yeah.
The TV cameras were open at the time, where people came to rush me, managers of the league. I said, stop, you have to wait. I took my time with her, because that was the realization of that premonition. So it's a moment I'll forever cherish. And thanks to God that really she was able to be by my side on that particular day. I don't think we'll ever see a day like that, from such a legend. So we're quite blessed as TS Galaxy.
Sure. The next premonition must be of you lifting the Betway Premiership.
Indeed. It's a matter of time.
That's the only thing.
It shall happen. And then, I can't remember what Mr. Rudolph from Mukopane asked, but I think it was just...
I think it was more a comment in the mastermind.
Complimenting our work.
Yeah. So, there's lots of that. And let me again give credence to the listeners and the shareholders that are watching on the YouTube channel. Neo was saying that thank you for adding more time to continue this chat with the TS Galaxy boss. Thank you, Neo, for being there and staying the course. And Ukama was saying, good evening. Team believes that says a player has an experience. Those who have been with the PSL for years, or is he always going to get fresh players from outside of the league? That's Ukama from Alex. Also more questions from the YouTube channel. Who does he support between Danny and Zungu? Hey. Have you thought of that? The next president of SAFA?
Look, I'll be more swayed on Mr. Zungu's side. And again, I always prefer to put facts on the table. Yeah. You saw what happened to African football when a captain of the industry took over in the form of Dr. Patrice Motsepe.
Right.
Zungu is one captain of the industry. Better even now, in the recent times, has become football inclined. So there are certain things to be achieved. We know that from an overall footballing perspective at national team level. And he brings that business mind. I think that organization obviously will function even more better, when it is well funded, for sure. He will definitely bring other captains of the industry with him there. And he generally, is a quality person. I have no doubt about it. So nothing against Mr. Jordan. I think he has run his mile and he has achieved a lot to the best of his ability. We admire his work. If I were to call for a fresh blood and I'm given a choice between the two, definitely Zungu.
So you're saying that if Zungu takes over, there's greater hope in achieving something at SAFA that maybe has not been achieved because the thinking has not been as open as, like you rightfully say, under Patrice Motsepe running CAF. And CAF, he's celebrated the highest in terms of women's football and the prize money in the women's game, the Africa Cup of Nations, the Champions League, the AFL that is coming up. So in your mind, bring a Sandile Zungu in and a change will be made.
Yeah, I'm sure we have heard so many stories about the financial struggles of our national federation in SAFA. And therefore I'm calling for that man with that kind of a profiling, proven track record. So Mr. Zungu carries that, no doubt about it. Like I said, nothing against Mr. Jordan, but if financial struggles are an Achilles heel towards the development of our game, therefore a no-brainer as a solution would be a person of that caliber.
Okay. Maybe just some comments that are coming through as well from the YouTube channel. This is Nkululeko, who says, I wish to understand if Mr. Sukazi, does he still practice as a legal practitioner?
I do.
You still do?
I do. Yeah, obviously extra hours and all that. But then the pressure comes at different times. There were times where I would be seated and up at 1 a.m., drafting heavy loaded legal opinions or whatever the case may be. But we've got a team of lawyers as well that do other things that I shouldn't be doing anyway.
Jack, also talking about the shop, is saying the Tears Galaxy shop, is it going to be in Bronkhorstspruit?
Kwaggafontein Mall and Mbombela Ilanga Mall.
Okay, so those are the two for now. And I'm sure because you guys spend so much time here in Joburg anyway, you might as well pop one in one of the malls.
Absolutely.
Maybe Fourways Mall's too big, and but you know where I'm going with this. Bongani says you've got a great mind in the studio, Tim Sukazi. True, I conquer, with the plea to let that match between Tears Galaxy and Sundowns. It says true players are called to Bafana once they join the big three. Okay, this one I think we've dealt with. I'm still asking about the merchandise. I think you've just answered that one now. Great to have you in the studio. My question is, does he have ambitions of being a chairman of the PSL after the Iron Duke? I think we've dealt with that one. I wish Tim Sukazi was chairman of Kaizer Chiefs. We would be challenging things continentally and globally. Good show, guys. That's from Olani. Love the fact that the chairman calls a spade a spade. He's honest and speaks his mind. Lastly, I can't wait to don the TS Galaxy shirt. That's Ushaba Lala Paul Kekane. So there are many. We love Tim Sukazi. He's a great person and he must treat players well. Did he manage to settle the case with that player, Nadim Luke? He calls him 10 out of 10. I forgot his name. You've settled all outstanding issues, I would imagine, with whatever players.
Yeah, we don't have any issue.
There's no issue. All sorted. Let me play the last voice note.
Hi, Mr. Merawa and the team. Hi, Mr. Sukazi. My question to you is, don't you think that you need to consider the hybrid form of distribution? Yeah, yes, I understand that you are in the process of building your own outlet or distribution outlet. But in my view, it seems as if that distribution outlet will be a geographical concentrated, or in other words, it will be a niche. So if I were you, I would rather consider the hybrid form by considering the likes of Total Sports, which means you will be developing your own market. Because what matters here is feasibility. I understand some will say a wise man put all his eggs in one basket and then look after the basket. But in terms of market development, a wise man do not put all his eggs in one basket. David in Pargood.
Sure, David. I saw you shaking your head there or nodding. Which one was it?
I fully agree. In fact, the converse of it stands to apply in our situation. We are studying or setting up our own establishments for the reason that we couldn't put our merchandise at the Total Sport. They're looking for certain brands. They are very clear. Even in Studio 88, we've been trying that for years. Mind you, ours is homemade, homegrown. So we are not in Nike, we are not in Adidas. So they always frown at, brands that they don't know. And therefore, that has pushed us to now put together our own establishments. However, though, in the course of time, we have nothing against it. The hybrid model is the one. Even I think Adidas, while they've got now a new Orlando Pirates 1 or 2 shops, there will still be at Total Sports and everywhere else. We would want to see ourselves there one day.
Okay, all I say is maybe win one more trophy.
Yes.
Well, sometimes that is the rubber stamp. When people see the potential, they might look for the old established teams, but also at times the old established teams don't exist anymore. We see others dropping down. We see others disappearing. Maybe just a final shot at addressing a lot of what you've heard, maybe something that we haven't explored here, just as a final word from you.
Yeah, look, Rob, I think being here tonight reaffirmed our belief in people looking at us and drawing an inspiration from our work. And I think it is now urging us to work even more harder And also, I think the club TS Galaxy, again, when you hear people talking in the manner in which they are doing about the club, the brand, you start realizing that indeed it is the fastest growing football brand. We're not just an additional club or a number in the league, for sure. We have become well known, for our efforts and the brand of football as well, the philosophy. You find all these things when you watch ATS Galaxy team playing football. And indeed, we have built an institution. We're building an institution. People may not know, TS Galaxy, in a normal weekend, we stage about 18 matches because we've got 18 teams. The 3 PSL or senior teams, women's PSL side, Betway Premiership, and the DDC. Thereafter, we've got 15 development teams. So we are here in the game, obviously, for the good of it to serve, and obviously grow this institution and indeed find the talent day in, day out. We are serving a God's mandate to the T. He says to us, my children, I'll give you what I give you, take it, use it to give a livelihood to my children to whom I would afford talent. Or through the talent that I would afford to them, So we carry that mandate to the prescripts of it. We realize that's why we make sure that we bring up these kids and so that they could achieve certain ambitions, help their families. That we'll keep on doing. And we're so inspired, obviously, by people who so believe in us. And we're saying we shall keep on keeping on. It's hard, it's not easy. And I promise you that one day TS Galaxy will count amongst the giants in the African football. No doubt about it.
Sure. What a way to leave it. Tim Sukazi, I thank you very, very much indeed for your time. We could have gone on for another hour, like you said earlier on, but we'll save some of it for the next meeting that we do have. I also want to thank everybody on the YouTube channel. I see you. I salute you. Appreciate you staying the extra 37 minutes with us here on the show. But most importantly, you were talking about the captains of industry. The captains of this industry are the 4 people that have stayed on. They've given their time.
Salute.
We salute. Hey, Nanguma Vusan is still there. Tobs are still there. Madam P is still there. They could have gone on dates and so
sing that they're so pretty and yeah.
So to the partners who are listening, sorry man, sorry. They were national duty. But they are still here. So if I could shift the camera to them, I would shift them. I'm not sure who's on the controls today as far as the YouTube channel is concerned. But thanks to the team in its totality, guys, and those seen or unseen here on #MSW. We do appreciate you. Tim Sukazi, everything of the best. And I hope that FIFA comes back to you sooner rather than later. We love a buzzing TS Galaxy. We love the kind of football that you guys play. And big ups to Bernard Parker for doing the work in as much as he does. I think he does more training than the players from my observation. See you again tomorrow.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Mame Sheikh Niang. Still talking about Sundowns, though. You don't really play much when you were there. What happened?
Despite Pirates wanting to sign me, I chose Sundowns in
Maritzburg United also wanted you?
Yeah. I chose Sundowns because I was coming close to the end of my career. I thought, now let me take the money. At that time, I wanted the money. To be honest with you, I wanted the money.
Sorry. I love honest people.
I wanted the money, but then I got there. I see top players there, and I said, I want to compete.